So today I'm going to go over camera and just, everything that I do as far as placement during the ceremony. So I set up this template. This is like a typical wedding ceremony, indoor, outdoor, church. This is pretty much what it is. You got your audience here. You got your groom waiting up here for the bride who's going to be coming down with her procession. So the difference is I'm going to go 3 different situations, shooting solo, shooting with 2 people, and then a 3-person team. So starting off with solo, you are the first camera. And typically what I like to do is start up here. Of course I'll walk around and get some audience reaction shots like telephoto looking back, because this is the best angle to do that. And then you can also get the groom's reaction. So as the bride is coming down and like all of her bridesmaids, you're shooting here. So your camera is more, it's good to have a monopod and a zoom lens so that you can go in and out as far as whatever you need to get as this is happening. But my second camera would probably be probably right here, and it would be a little more of a wide, just so that I can cut to whatever. You want this to be on a tripod and as high as possible so that when people are standing, it's shooting over their heads. So this is like your backup to cut when you need to make a move or readjust your shot as the first camera. So yeah, you're shooting this as it's coming down, and then, I like to get all of this, and then probably right here, like I'll switch over to get the groom's reaction real quick, and then she's only moved like a foot, and then I go back to the bride, and then get the rest of this, and then slowly back up as they come together. I cover that until, they get situated, and then the actual ceremony kind of starts. And then I run back, readjust this camera so that it's more dead center in the aisle and more telephoto, so that, I just have kind of like from here to here. So this is a good way to see whoever is talking right here. And then once I have that set up, and my cameras are rolling the whole time, just because it makes it easier when I sync and post. So I'll take myself and my camera all the way over here usually, because this is the best angle to get like a telephoto of the bride. So I'll do that at different points, and I'll even move around and get wide shots, and this is the camera that I want to keep put. So this is moving around. And then for vows, that's really the only other time something's happening. I'll typically set on a tripod like a more telephoto shot of the bride. And then if I have time to go run all the way over, it's kind of crazy when you're shooting solo. So I don't recommend it, to get the matching shot if you have time of the groom. And then once that's done, really what I typically like to do is, make sure that I get enough audience reaction shots. The people who are closer up in the rows are definitely the more important: family and friends, grandparents and parents. So you want to make sure you get those people before you get the back tier rows. So then for the ring exchange, I'll usually bring my camera back over here and then get some kind of medium close-up of the bride and groom as like a side shot. Leave that on a tripod and then go back. So my camera is stationary here still. So then I'll go back, and then I'll actually move this camera up as much as I can, because actually the photographer usually for the kiss and the ring exchange will be pretty much here almost every time, the main photographer. So I'll move up with them as much as I can and then get a nice telephoto of the ring exchange here. And then the kiss. This is typically the best angle. I have this as my backup, but shooting solo, you just want to make sure you got what you need. So I get that, and then with the photographer, I just back up as the bride and groom are leaving after the kiss, and then set up shop right here as they leave. And then I just get telephoto shots of everyone just leaving. And that's typically it for the solo shoot. It's pretty crazy because you have to run around a lot more, and you're not getting everything that you want. You're getting what you need, so I don't recommend it. But yeah, that's how I do it. So when you're shooting with a team of 2, I would say you typically have 3 cameras and 3 tripods at your disposal. So just like the first, the first camera will be the person up front getting this zoom, monopod, telephoto to wide, whatever they need to capture the people coming down in the procession. And then I usually like to have my second shooter move between two spots. So I usually like to have them right here. And you'll notice on all of these, the 180 rule as much as possible for this first section. And then as the subjects move, it changes. So at this point, my 180 rule is this angle right here on this side. So any shots, looking in these directions is fine. If I had a camera facing that way on this side, so like a person here looking this way, it would kind of mess up the shot. So, and that, like I said, that changes once our situation or our subjects move to a new area. So that's just like another video. Okay. So, okay, so yeah, my second shooter, his job. Okay, so my second shooter, his or her job is to get like a telephoto 10-second shot of the groom's reaction, because I want to be focusing on this the whole time. So whatever spot they need to do that, depending on where the people are standing in the way, it could be right here with a telephoto, it could be right here, either way, they just have to get that shot because I don't want to have to depend on that. But other than that, they're getting some kind of, I like to get a dead-on wide of people walking by, maybe even a slider move. Sometimes they'll move here just to get like a wide of all the people walking, just something to supplement, because I'll probably be using the first camera 80% of the time for the procession, but it's these other shots that I want that I don't need that the second shooter is going to do at this point. So the bride is coming down, they're getting their stuff, and once again the first shooter backs out as the bride and groom meet here. And at this point, I'm kind of on a monopod. I'm just covering in kind of a loose way whatever's happening up here until my second shooter can come back and then have their telephoto from here to here shot of the bride and groom. And then once again, the priest or officiant talking and doing their thing. So once they give me like a visual like nod, like we're good, I will move back and set up shop, right here with a telephoto and then lock that down. What I'll have set up before the ceremony is another camera to mirror that one, but not rolling, just chilling there waiting on a tripod, so that's quick and easy. So once I have that set up, I will go all the way over, double check with my second shooter that everything's good, and then start rolling and set up the framing for this shot over here. So at this point, we have probably 270 to 200s on each of these sides, or the cheaper 75 to 300 lens. That usually works perfectly right there. And then this, typically you can move if you have to change the focal length. So like 100 millimeter or an 85 at this part works for me. If they need a tighter shot, they'll just move forward, depending on, the amount of guests that they would be in the way of, or the photographer. We just try to work around them. We have 3 cameras so that the photographers can, come in the way, get their shot, and then they leave. I'll just know that I have these other 2 shots that I can use while that's happening. And then, I just communicate. They can do whatever they want as long as they do it in and out. If they stay up here the whole time, that's a problem. If they stay up here the whole time, that's a problem. So it's all communication. So all the ceremonies happening, every so often I'll make a nod. So, if I know I have time with one of these cameras, I'll turn it and get some audience reaction. And then I will do the same thing over here. So as the first, I'm going back and forth. I'm making sure that my second shooter always has this shot taken care of. And every so often, they can actually go wide or telephoto, depending on, if these sides are good. So that's all, like, the biggest thing for my second shooter is that I want them to check with me every minute. you know, just a quick glance up at me, because it's all verbal hand communication. Like, do I need you to move somewhere? Do you have the shot? Like, good. Like, just because we don't want any breaks in the coverage. And once again, all these cameras are rolling continuously as much as possible to make the syncing easy in post. So yeah, for vows, everything's set up, everything's rolling. This person, the second shooter, will come up close for the kiss if they need to. And then that's it. You know, just like the same. As this happens, the second shooter will come back and then shoot the rest of the procession from here as the bride and groom come down and through. And then that's it. You know, the end of the ceremony isn't really that crazy of a thing to capture, as long as we have this shot of the bride and groom leaving. And then that's good. So when it comes to a 3-person team for capturing this ceremony, you would think that it complicates things, but it actually makes it very easy, because typically everyone has their station, and when you're using 3 or 4 cameras, you know, it's pretty straightforward. So once again, the first camera will be right here, and with their monopod and their zoom, getting whatever's happening down this aisle looking this way. My second shooter is actually going to be hiding in the middle of the pews, right here, right on the edge as much as possible. I'm going to make sure to reserve that for them. And they're with a monopod, with the zoom lens, typically telephoto, so that they can snipe this photo of the groom the entire time. So that's one of the awesome things with having 3 people for this moment. I have a good reaction of the groom the entire time, and they can get any audience reaction shots, because people typically like to look back at the bride and groom as stuff is, you know, happening down the aisle. So, and these people right here and these people right here are the most important out of all of this audience. So you definitely want to be able to capture that and this. So it's good having your second shooter there. So then the third shooter is going to be getting the shots that we want but not need. So they will typically be on a slider. Probably, I've seen a lot of people do slides right around this corner. So the bride enters, and then they do a quick little wide reveal, like from here to here, showing like a reveal of the church and the bride in her dress walking down. It's a really cool shot. So if they're not doing that, they're typically wide on a glide cam. What I do this a lot. I love glide camming for weddings. They'll be wide, of course, and they'll start right here. So as the bride either comes through this door or comes from an area over here, they will slowly push in this way, like, you know, facing this way, and then they'll turn and just follow her a little bit and then leave. So as the bride is coming down the aisle, everyone's capturing their things. This third person, by the time she gets to the middle, this third person's done with what they're doing, so they're going to run over to this camera tripod and 70 to 200 that they have set up. So if you put the base plate on the 70 to 200 lens, you can just leave it chilling on a tripod, and then just take your DSLR without a lens and then just, and it's like super easy and quick. So I always like to leave the lens on the tripod there. So third person will gallantly walk over to there and set their shot up and get ready as the bride is coming down. You know, this second shooter is just keeping on that groom, and the bride passes frame, and then, you know, that happens. Once again, the first shooter fades out to this side, and once again they'll have a 70 to 200 on a tripod just like the other side. So everyone is set with their shots. First and third are over here, and then once the bride and groom do their, you know, meet and the ceremony begins, the second shooter will fade backwards and set up a tripod with their telephoto getting this shot here. Typically what I like to do is, you know, once again, visual confirmation that everyone's got their shots. If someone's good, you know, you can move. So this person usually has a little bit of time to get a wide over here, like super wide over here, and then come back and then set up this. And then once that's set up, you know, everyone can move around, but everyone just stays at their station. The person who's probably going to be moving around at all is the first camera, just to go around, check to make sure that's good, check to make sure that's good, and then should be set. So during the ceremony, when you have time, these two people coordinate when they can swivel around and shoot telephoto reaction shots of the bride, the audience. And yeah, that's it. Once again, the second shooter might move up a little bit with the photographer if they want to get closer. It really does depend on the photographer. So the second shooter can move up if they need. And then these two cameras are just covering with their zoom lenses whatever's happening. And it's pretty straightforward, actually. And then once again, as the bride and groom leave, second shooter comes back and then sets up shop on this corner. Then that's it. It's really simple, actually. Just don't shoot by yourself. It's insane. I've done it so many times, and like I've got examples of ceremonies that I've shot by myself, and like, oh man, it's crazy. So when you do shoot in a three-person team, it's really nice. So that's it. I tried to keep it basic just so that it can, you know, be implemented for anyone in any kind of ceremony. I know there's a lot of different types of shooting. There's a lot of different situations, but this is like a good basis for ceremonies in general. So if you like this video, please leave a like, comment below what you thought and how you would do things differently, or if you agree. And until then, thank you for watching.